The decision of Burkina Faso, Niger and Mali to withdraw from the West Africa regional bloc ECOWAS has added a new twist to long simmering tensions in the region. The juntas of the three countries announced on Sunday 28 January that they were exiting the half-a-century-old bloc without delay. They accuse it of imposing inhumane sanctions against them in response to their military coups, with Niger being the latest to be slammed with such sanctions following a coup in July 2023. They also accuse ECOWAS of derailing from its founding principles, which include promoting regional integration and supporting member states to achieve economic prosperity. But the regional group's reaction seems conciliatory. It maintains that Burkina Faso, Niger and Mali remain its integral members and is committed to dialogue with them to address the conflict. Although the three countries led by juntas announced their immediate exits, Article 91 of the ECOWAS Charter states that any member country willing to exit the bloc must give a notice of at least 1 year. And during that period, it is expected to continue to abide by the bloc's rules and principles. In a statement, ECOWAS says it did not receive any formal withdrawal notice. Hours later, Niger, Mali and Burkina Faso explained that they had sent official notifications of their decision to leave the bloc. So how did the crisis reach this level?
I think that we had a new leadership, of ECOWAS. That leadership, I think, made a mistake in the way the crisis was handled when the coup in Niger took place. The last thing came first, and that was the threat of the use of force. And so that created a lot of bad blood with regional powers promising hell and brimstone on the junta in Niger.
One of the major first signs that Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger were planning a collective pullout from ECOWAS emerged in September 2023. Barely a month after Niger's coup, they signed a pact forming a bloc known as Alliance of the Sahel States to foster mutual defense and security, as well as economic well-being of their populations. The exits of the three coup-hit countries from the regional bloc is unprecedented and has sent shockwaves across the region and beyond. ECOWAS, which stands for the Economic Community of West African States, was established in 1975. It comprises 15 countries of West Africa. Its main goal is to facilitate regional and economic cooperation among member states. Over the years, ECOWAS has evolved, with its mandate now including political and military cooperation. Insecurity in the Sahel region, where armed groups have been unleashing terror for more than a decade, is one of the reasons the armies of Niger, Burkina Faso and Mali gave for toppling democratically elected governments in their individual countries. They vowed to address these continuing challenges. Analysts say their exits from ECOWAS could weaken and complicate regional and bilateral cooperation against armed groups. And in the long run, the economic impact of the move could exacerbate poverty and make living conditions more difficult, something armed groups usually take advantage of to recruit fighters. But some analysts say ECOWAS as a bloc had done little.
It's important to recognize that the behavior of ECOWAS, especially with regard to the situation in Niger, is absolutely non-acceptable. You see that there have been a problem in the Sahel for quite a long time. And ECOWAS has not done anything military to support those countries. That was one of the reasons raised by the three countries. But as soon as the coup happened, a coup should be understood and read in a bigger context. There are reasons for coup to happen. So when you see the signs of instability in the countries and you don't jump in, you don't offer solutions, and when the consequences arrive, you just can't make such decision, especially trying to intervene militarily, which many Africans consider as a decision heavily influenced by external powers.
ECOWAS has tried to mount pressure on the military juntas in Niger, Mali and Burkina Faso to restore civilian rule. It did not get any satisfactory commitment, and it says no real progress has been made in their transition processes.
Having promised force immediately the coup in Niger took place and not being able to back it up with action, the various military regimes of West Africa felt emboldened because that was the last card that could be used by the sub-region, and they were not able to use it. That emboldened them. And that also emboldened them in terms of the engagement that were needed to be done towards moving these countries towards a democratic transition.
The withdrawal of Burkina Faso, Niger and Mali, who have a combined population of about 66 million people, would have far-reaching implications for the region, which has a total population of around 450 million.
Les impacts obligatoirement sur les activités commerciales. Quand on prend qu'aujourd'hui, si nous nous retirons carrément de l'espace de la CEDEAO, il y aura des charges et des coûts qui vont obligatoirement s'augmenter sur le transport des marchandises, sur la libre circulation des personnes et des biens.
Le passeport que nous utilisons, c'est un passeport communautaire, c'est un passeport de la CEDEAO. Donc si vous avez ce passeport-là, vous pouvez circuler dans tous les États membres de la CEDEAO sans visa. Mais maintenant, avec le retrait du Niger de la CEDEAO, on se pose la question, quel est le sort de ce passeport-là?
According to ECOWAS, its budget for the 2023 financial year was 400 billion Central African francs, roughly $662 million. Member states finance the regional bloc's yearly budget, mainly through community levy. This refers to a 0.5% tax that each of the ECOWAS member states imposes on goods from non-ECOWAS countries. This accounts for between 70% and 90% of ECOWAS budget. Over the years, the bulk of these funds comes from Nigeria, which currently leads the bloc. But the exit of Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger might also leave the body with some financing gaps and could deal a huge blow to its image and credibility. In 2023, the ECOWAS Parliament said Burkina Faso, though under transitional rule, was up to date with its membership payments.
Currently, if you look at all the regional economic communities in Africa, I will say without doubt that ECOWAS is one of the most effective, considering the other regional economic communities. Citizens of ECOWAS can at least show today that because of ECOWAS, we are able to circulate freely within the 15 countries. That is something very good because this implicates, of course, free movement of people, but also movement of goods, trade, and so on. The withdrawal of those three countries will impact that situation. And not only for the three countries, but also for the neighboring countries. And that will have a serious implications on poverty and other economic aspects of their life. So it is important to avoid that to happen.
Burkina Faso's leading export product is cotton, while Mali's main export is gold, which accounts for more than 70% of the country's yearly exports. Niger largely exports uranium, which accounts for over 75% of the nation's total exports. It also exports huge agricultural products. These countries, all under military rule, are also likely to feel the heat of their withdrawal from ECOWAS. Membership grants them access to larger markets and foreign capital. Some analysts believe some world powers scrambling for allies and resources in Africa might be playing behind-the-scene roles in the tensions between ECOWAS and its revolting members. So, what can be done at this point?
It is an opportunity, first, for ECOWAS to find a negotiated solution so that the withdrawal does not become effective. And second, use the opportunity to rethink and polish its own integrity vis-à-vis its people.
As Mali and Burkina Faso and Niger appear determined to leave ECOWAS, experts point out that the divorce process might be a difficult one, with settling existing assets and financial dealings expected to be a thorny issue that could open another chapter.